Jordan had wanted to be a mother ever since she could remember. She couldn't wait until the day when a pregnancy test showed positive, and she could share that wonderful news with her husband. She couldn't wait to feel that baby growing inside her and take on all the effects of motherhood with it. Blissful thoughts indeed, and the kind of thoughts shared by young women all over the world, to create a human life and be that one person whom they can constantly depend upon. There was really no other peak for Jordan. This would be the ultimate experience, the greatest adventure. Jordan, she spells that with a Y, married her best friend from childhood back in November of 2016. A few months later, in February of 2017, they were all four starting a family of their very own. But a year and some months later, their hopes and dreams of that were dashed when they were both diagnosed with infertility. It's a rare situation, but either way, they were not going to be able to produce and raise children, at least not in the traditional way. When they got back into the car after the doctor made it clear to them, they held each other and sobbed. They were so broken-hearted. What was once their biggest dream came crashing down around them. They were both 20 years old, and life had just pulled the rug out from beneath them. Jordan's heart was in a million tiny pieces. She wanted so badly to carry the child of the man she loved so dearly. It just wasn't fair, she would say to herself. She was mad at God, mad at life. She just couldn't understand why, after all these years of getting her hopes up, that she was denied the one thing she wanted the most, the one thing that so many other women can do without even trying. Jordan and her husband both attend church. It was awful hard for her to keep attending, what with that anger toward God and all. But she did, because it was a church with such caring people. When she told the pastor her story, he told his congregation, and they all prayed over her. This was done many times over the next several weeks. And while it was being done, Jordan was convinced that, in time, God would answer all those prayers. During one Wednesday prayer at the altar, Jordan felt a hand on her shoulder. The woman behind her hugged Jordan and told her that there were other options to take on and raise a child. There was fostering, and there was adoption. Jordan appreciated her concern, but she wanted nothing to do with that. If she couldn't have a child on her own, well. She would sometimes have very personal spiritual talks with her pastor. He listened very intently and did not offer any advice one way or another. But in one of her last talks with him, he told her a story about when his own wife got pregnant for the second time. He really wanted a boy, a second son. But one day, a Sunday during that pregnancy, he had an unexplained change of heart and was much more inclined to wanting a daughter. He knew that change of heart came from God. The moral of the story, he told her, was no matter your own desires, God's will take control and change your heart. Jordan then began to believe that God allows everything to happen for a reason. She never expected a change of heart, but she was about to have one. She and her husband became licensed foster parents in April of 2020. 2 days later, they got their first call. A baby stayed in their care for 10 days before going back to its parents. Jordan was shocked and disheartened. She got a clear picture of how truly broken the system is, and she wanted to help fix that. Says Jordan, I no longer wanted to be just a foster to adopt mom. There are so many children out there who just need a safe place to be until their parents can establish a safe environment and healthy lifestyle for their children. These kids need love and support. They need to know they have a place to rest their head and warm food to go in their bellies. They should not have to worry at 5 years old where they're going to get their next meal from. I want to be that for them, their safe place. She continued, I felt as if I were being selfish, only taking in children who I could adopt, knowing there are so many babies out there that just need a place to stay. I contacted my licensing worker, and we changed our status to foster and adoptive parents. We also changed our license status to take in up to 4 children ages 0 to 5 years old. Once we changed our license, we were placed with 2 of the most handsome and well-mannered little boys. These precious babies were in care for over 11 months and in 4 different foster homes before they came to us. Some days were more challenging than others. We tried to instill love and responsibility into their little hearts while they were with us. We did spoil them like crazy, but how do you not? Jordan knows all about the attachment one gets when fostering a child, and a big part of her heart goes with them when they leave. Says Jordan, "I will forever have missing pieces of my heart, and that's okay. As a foster mom, I support reunification 100%, if and only if it's in the best interest and well-being for the child or children." She and her husband have had 6 calls since they've been foster parents, and she said yes to each one. It's bittersweet for her when her home is empty, but she realizes that's a good thing. Foster care. It's something that, says Jordan, makes you want to pull your hair out and scream at the top of your lungs. But at the end of the day, it makes a big difference in the ones you bring into your home. One of Jordan's favorite quotes is, "Adopt. If you cannot adopt, foster. If you cannot foster, sponsor. If you cannot sponsor, volunteer. If you cannot volunteer, donate. If you cannot donate, educate." Says Jordan, "I never expected to be a foster mom, and here I am loving every minute of it. Impacting a child's future for the better is one of the most humbling feelings. God has been through this journey every step of the way. Without my faith in Him, I would not have been able to help the children who have needed me thus far. We are doing what we are called to do. We are on our greatest adventure." Please like, comment, and share. Join us and change lives. Pleased to have you around. Blessed we are to get connected with you.